Thanks, Juliana. We got multiple things to tell you about tonight, and let's start with the great state of Alabama. In the state of Alabama, Republican challenger Tommy Tuberville has defeated Democratic incumbent Doug Jones. Certainly a smile on the face of many GOPers tonight, as any Senate seat that is part of the Republican Party is going to get them one step closer to the 51 seats they need for a majority. But perhaps one of the bigger stories of the night is going to be North Carolina. Now look, here's the deal. North Carolina is a pretty Republican state. It voted Republican every election since 1976, all but once in 2008 when it narrowly sided with candidate Barack Obama. But currently, the state is leading the president by only 1/10 of a point. Now, what does this mean? Well, first of all, the current president is likely losing support. It's likely losing a bit of support in suburban areas, but he's able to maintain that support in rural areas where he was really able to not only convince voters of his cause, but why the former vice president is not suited to the state of North Carolina. Counties such as Wake are likely to overwhelmingly side with the former vice president, but nevertheless, the president is still performing just a little bit better than the former vice president in the state of North Carolina. But I want to take you a little bit across the country to the great state of Arizona. The prospect of Arizona becoming a battleground wasn't even a discussion until the latter months of the campaign. But currently, the former vice president is leading in the state of Arizona, and specifically, he's leading in Maricopa County. Maricopa County accounts for over 60% of the electorate in the state of Arizona. Simply put, it's incredibly difficult to win the state without Maricopa County. Currently, the former vice president is doing it. And not only is he doing it, he's doing it by nearly double-digit margins. If the former vice president is able to take Maricopa County, he is incredibly likely to take the Grand Canyon state. Why is he taking Maricopa County? Well, first of all, Arizona has one of the fastest growing Hispanic populations in the western United States. Over 31% of the electorate in Arizona is of Hispanic population. Now, it's not just the former vice president where the Democrats are very happy right now in the state of Arizona, but it's also the Senate. Mark Kelly, the former astronaut, is currently leading by nearly 15 points against incumbent Martha McSally. You heard that right, 1-5. That is a huge margin, even with only 40% of precincts reporting in the state of Arizona. Now, while it's still early, this could change. 2016 taught us that anything's possible, but currently the Democratic Party is likely very happy right now. That's all for me over here. Back to you at the National Desk. Sit back, buckle your seatbelts. We're about to go on a tour through the continental United States, and let's start with Missouri. Now, Missouri is the second biggest bellwether in the United States, behind, of course, the Buckeye State with Ohio. But recently, since the 2008 election, the Show Me State has veered Republican. In 2008, it overwhelmingly sided with McCain. In 2012, it overwhelmingly sided with Romney. And in 2016, by 18 points, it sided with President Trump. Now, why is it such a huge margin? Well, with Missouri, there's a massive rural-urban divide. You got big cities like Kansas City and St. Louis on opposite sides of the state. And then you got the big rural wall on the south, on the north, and all throughout the state that really lends it that Republican support. Perhaps it will be able to maintain its bellwether status tonight, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now, let's go to the state of Georgia. Now, Georgia, much like Arizona, was not considered a battleground until the waning months of the campaign. But currently, with roughly 60% of the vote, the president is leading by roughly 10 points. Now, double-digit margins are anything for a candidate to get excited about, but it is still very early in the night. If the president is able to amass the same support he garnered in 2016, with just a little more, perhaps through those mail-in votes, then he will very likely pick up the state of Georgia. But that's going to have to be a story that we will elaborate on throughout the night. Now, take a road trip for a few days and you are at the West Coast, the other part of the Blue Wall. California, Oregon, and Washington have all gone for the former Vice President Joe Biden. And this isn't too much of a surprise, it is to be expected. These states are Blue Wall states that were expected to side with the former Vice President, and they're doing it tonight. He's currently leading with 209 electoral votes. Not 270 yet. It's going to be very interesting to see it throughout the night. That's all for me over here. Your seatbelts unbuckled. Back to you at the National Desk.